Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
All right, we are continuing our 49ers roster countdown with maybe the backup quarterback, number 48, quarterback Nate Sudfeld. He's wearing jersey number 7, and he's a big one. 6'6", 227 pounds. He's a big cat. Has kind of been. He comes from a long family line of football players. He has 2 twin brothers. Both played in the NFL, or both played college ball. One of them went on to the NFL, and Nate Sudfeld is entering into his 8th season. He checks almost every single box as your vet, backup / coach / whatever, except for playing time. Never really received a lot of playing time, but man, he has been around some coaches. You know, the GM that drafted him, we'll get more into this, Scott McLaughlin, Sean McVay, like he's been with some cats, you know, Jay Gruden, he's been around the block, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. We'll detail all that. But before we do that and talk about what his role for the 49ers is going to be in 2022, let's dive into his history. Let's go through kind of how he got to where he is and why every single coaching staff he's been with has loved him. He's from Modesto Christian, Modesto, California. He was a 3-star recruit and eventually chose Indiana. But before that, let's go through his high school because there's a lot of texture to this kid. You know, he played for Steve Gleason at Modesto Christian High. He was the team's MVP. He was also the Trans Valley League offensive MVP, second team All-State, first district, whatever. And you can go through his stats. I mean, it's just unreal. 31 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Set the school's single season record for passing yards, passing touchdowns, passing yards per game. You know, he had one game where he threw for 384 yards and 6 touchdowns. Like, he was the number 14 nationally ranked quarterback coming out by ESPN and National Honor Society member, played basketball, football, all those things. And his family very humanitarian minded. Whenever he's 14, he took a trip to Uganda, which kind of changed the way he saw things. And when he was in college, he went back to Africa and served on some more mission trips. So he's somebody that cares, somebody that works, very intelligent for sure. He chose to go to Indiana, and man, he got playing time right away. He's one of 3 players that started for Indiana as a true freshman in the history of their entire program, and came on, you know, all Big Ten freshman team, all those things. Sophomore year, you know, he came out academic all Big Ten and started pretty much every single game with 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. His junior year, again, academic all Big Ten. Every single player, man, it seems like as we go through this roster and you dive into each individual player, if there's one commonality, intelligence is key. This coaching staff wants smart players, and it just, man, I could just pull string doll, you know, academic, all big, whatever. Every single player we go through. Junior year, struggled a little bit. He had 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, suffered a season injury, shoulder injury, ended his season. And then, you know, that year coming back, probably one of his biggest years whenever you're looking at his junior to senior year. He went and helped Andrew Luck, you know, work with his Big Ten kickoff luncheon. He was a camp counselor at the Eli Manning and Peyton Manning camp. Everything started changing, went and, you know, toured Africa, things like that. And he came out and just blew it up. Led the Big Ten in passing yards per game, passing yards, total offense, total touchdowns, had 27 touchdowns. He killed it. It was absolutely incredible. And, you know, that's what kind of vaulted him up his 2015 senior year. He was on the Maxwell Award, Johnny United's Golden Arm Award watch list, all these things, 6-time game captain, all academic, whatever. I mean, you can just go on and on and on. And whenever he left Indiana, talking about Sudfeld, he owns almost all the record books. Again, if you're just looking at Indiana passing quarterbacks, first in passing touchdowns with 61, passing yards over 7,000, 6 350-yard games, 11 300-yard games. He just lit it up. I mean, I've got a whole list here. It just goes on and on and on and on. He dominated the Big Ten with the school that's not well known for kind of what they do offensively. I love the Indiana program. I really, really do. But it's kind of hard for Indiana to compete with those bigger Big Ten schools. And he was able to do that. Now, let's look at his athletic profile heading into the NFL draft. He's huge. 6'6", right? Top 95% of quarterbacks. 243 pounds. He's lost some weight since then. 34.5-inch arms. I mean, golly, he's tall, he's long, he's big. And so if this was the 1980s, this dude would have been a first or second round pick, but it's not. He's not mobile at all. Ran a 4.93 40, 7.423 code, and a 29-inch vertical. He's not mobile. I mean, with his body and his size, he can kind of lean into things, and so he can maneuver time and get a little bit expanded time in the pocket, but he's not rushing for first downs very often. It's just not really what he does. You know, his two closest this is alarming, but it shouldn't be. His two closest athletic profiles, Nate Sudfeld, Brock Osweiler and Sam Bradford, right? Those are the type of guys that you're comparing to. Sam Bradford was the number 1 overall pick, right? But again, not mobile. Size and character are by far his best traits. He has a lot of college experience and a lot of NFL coaching and being around learning, but never really took a lot of snaps. And so we'll talk more about that in a second. He's an anticipation thrower, strong arm, can make every single throw, deep, short, does show some touch, struggles the close, how do I say this, kind of dump offs. Like I noticed, not the most touch, but he's not like slinging it like Colin Kaepernick all the time, whenever they're close or whatever. I like him. Doesn't step into his throw consistently, gets through reads decently. But again, we don't have a lot of film on him. We really, really don't. So if we go through his NFL journey, it's more the things that you like are the people he's been around. He was drafted in the 6th round by was then the Washington Redskins in the 2016 draft. In the 6th round, 187, and Jay Gruden was the head coach. Sean McVay was the coordinator. The GM was Scott McLaughlin. So he's been around some studs. He was backing up Kirk Cousins, and then he lost the job to Colt McCoy. Both Kyle Shanahan guys, right? And so they waived him, and whenever that happened, the Eagles picked him up. And so they picked him up in 2017. He won a Super Bowl his first year with the Eagles. Now, did he play very much? No, he did not. But Doug Peterson loved this guy. Talking to Eagles fans, they have nothing but positive things to say about Nate Sudfeld. But he was behind Carson Wentz and then Nick Foles. And he did win the backup job eventually, but just again, never really got in. Did have a season-ending broken wrist back in 2017. It just kind of bounced around. I mean, stayed on the Eagles, but never really got playing time. Then he gets cut, comes to the 49ers, and the 49ers signed him to a 1-year deal last year. He was released and brought back. Didn't really do much. Kyle Shanahan did him a favor, bumping him up to the active roster so he could get paid at the end of last year. Basically said, hey, man, we want to get you some extra money. We want you here. 0 career starts for somebody that's been in the league for 7 years, but he has played in 4 games. You look at his career stats, 25 of 37. That's all he's done. That's his entire career. 188 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Nothing, just nothing. But the coaches like him, very positive person, and they want to keep him around. But what's the role, right? Right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is the backup quarterback. I don't think Jimmy's going to be here for the season. I think he'll be traded or released. I don't even think released. He'll be traded eventually. But if Sudfeld's your backup quarterback, that's an issue. What is the role of backup quarterbacks in the NFL? It's to basically go 500 for a 2 to 3 game stretch. That's it. Get 1 win. If you're going to start 2 games, get 1 win. If you're going to start 3 games, maybe get 2 wins. That's it. And that's what this guy is. There's still a lot of unknown. He's very well seasoned. He's been around a lot of very quality quarterbacks, a lot of very quality coaches and talent evaluators, and Shanahan loves him. They gave him a 1-year, $2 million guaranteed contract, so it's not like he's getting cut. I know they drafted Brock Purdy, that dude's going to be on the practice squad. Nate Sudfeld, the only way he doesn't make the roster is for some reason they keep Jimmy Garoppolo. And even if that is the case, they might keep 3 quarterbacks on their active roster. But geez, that scares me. That does scare me. The confidence level in Nate Sudfeld coming in starting more than 2 games scares the hell out of me. But we have seen Kyle Shanahan work with some very subprime quarterbacks like Nick Mullins. It was average. All the turnovers, whatever else. I don't think we'd get that from Sudfeld, but we don't know. You look at C.J. Beathard, and never really worked out, but there were some flashes. I think that's what you'd expect with Sudfeld. It'd be very stressful watching him start many games. He's probably going to be in the bottom 5 or 10 of NFL backup quarterbacks. And so that's scary to me. Now, do I want him in the quarterback room? Yes. Do I want him around Trey Lance? Yes. Does he have a knowledge of this offense and of the NFL and defenses? Yes. Has he ever put it into practice? No. 37 career pass attempts in 7 years. That's not what you want. But Shanahan believes in him, and we'll just have to see. But yeah, if he's stepping into games, not going to be a lot of confidence. But I love this guy. Love him as a human. Love the traits. Love all those things. Just never seen it. And so the 49ers, if Jimmy G does in fact move on, which I expect, you're going into the 2022 season with Trey Lance, who's played for 10 quarters, and Nate Sudfeld, who's only thrown 37 career passes. Not a lot of experience in that room. So we'll have to see. It's a little scary. So anyway, we're going to keep counting them down. That's number 48, quarterback Nate Sudfeld. Hopefully we don't see him too much in the 2022 season, and we'll just keep counting them down.